You got to be the dumbest guy on planet Earth to keep doing this. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about NBA basketball player Ja Morant being suspended for 25 games to start the 2023-2024 season. Now, this comes as a result of his second gun video that went viral on the internet. Now, I got to give you a little bit of background so you understand why he's being suspended. He didn't break any laws. He didn't do anything criminal, really, but he got suspended for a good reason, and he probably should have got more games. Let's go back to the beginning. Now, here's the first picture. This picture here was of him, was a freeze frame. He did an Instagram Live video. He loves going on Instagram Live, playing with the guns. This video screenshot was taken while he was in Denver, Colorado. Now, he plays for the Memphis Grizzlies. This is during the season. So why are you in the strip club in Denver with a gun during the season when you don't live in Denver? What's going on? Well, what happened was he was out there playing the Denver Nuggets. Okay, so what that means is you had your gun with you on the plane. You didn't drive from Memphis all the way to Denver, Colorado. You had your gun on the plane. Now, having your gun on the plane, and of course, it's a chartered flight, so ain't no TSA. Fun fact. If you have your gun on the plane, that right there could be a problem because in the NBA's CBA, collective bargaining agreement, they probably already had issues this before. Guys bringing guns on the plane, that's a security risk. So they said, hey, if you bring a gun on the plane and we find out, that's an automatic 50-game suspension. Automatic. Now, what did they do instead? They gave him a 6-game suspension, or it might have been 6 to 9. It was nowhere near 50 games. They gave him a slap on the wrist at best. Like, okay, you need to go check yourself into a rehab facility, get yourself together. And he was right back on the basketball court. And it was pretty much over with, okay? Slap on the wrist, 6 games, when it should have been 50. That was the first strike. Having a gun in the strip club, which meant he had a gun on the plane most likely. Now, here he is again after the whole thing. And remember, he went to rehab, 6-game suspension. He was on ESPN speaking to Jalen Rose. Hey, I'll never do it again. I'm so sorry. I apologize to the kids that look up to me. I know I'm a role model, artist, and that and the third. He did all that apology tour, rehab, suspension, and then he gets caught on Instagram Live again with a gun. Now, I don't know if it was his own Instagram Live or one of his friends, but it was clear that the guy was on Instagram with the camera in his face, and Ja Morant has another gun in his hand. You can see it right there. I know these are like Blair Witch, Sasquatch, found footage type quality images, but you got to bear with me. So he's on video again with the gun. Now, if it's me and I already been suspended, I kind of dodged it because that could have been a criminal situation. Bringing a gun on the airplane, is that legal? I don't think so. Violating the CBA of the NBA, I did not get the big, crazy, over half of the season suspension. So I'm dodging bullets, literally. I didn't get locked up because there was a criminal investigation into the whole strip club incident. I beat the criminal investigation. I didn't get a big suspension and no violence happened. I'm good. All right. That was a warning. I'm not going to have any more guns. But he has a gun on the Instagram Live again. Now, some are going to say, well, look, ABO, he didn't break any laws. Second Amendment. It's not even about that. It's about you represent the NBA. You are making millions of dollars. You don't need to even have the gun on you. Pay one of these hangers on that are around you collecting money. Put them on payroll. Now, you got guys in your entourage, right? You got guys in your entourage. These guys are just trying to siphon money off of you, trying to be around, trying to be in the club, trying to drink your bottles of champagne and trying to smoke your weed, all this, that, and the third. Okay, you want to do all that? You want to consume my resources? How about I put you on payroll, 1099, be my security? Okay, that's actually not really a good idea. Rather than having these hangers on, You should hire actual professional staff to be security, but different story. I digress. The point is, you can hire security, let them hold the gun while you don't hold the gun, because by you having the gun, playing with it on camera, now you're risking your professional career. It's not even about risking your freedom. It's about that money, okay? Because now, after this video went viral, the NBA gave him a 25-game suspension, and now he is going to lose over $7 million. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I don't like losing any money whatsoever. That's him right there. That's a better picture of Ja Morant. And I'm going to get into that headline in a minute. But I don't like losing any money whatsoever. All right. Now, he's lucky he didn't lose that Nike deal. Okay. They're not going to cut ties with him. That's pretty important. You have a Nike shoe bringing you quite a bit of cash. He was jeopardy of losing that as well, because when you do certain things that go against the brand, they want you to be family friendly. They want you to be accessible. He's going to be like the face of the NBA. He's a very good player. He appeals to the youth. He's like 20, 21. He's a young man, really, really young. The kids love him. He's a great player. You got to think smarter. It's not even about what's legal. It's not even about what you can actually do. It's about, hey, you know what? My job doesn't like it. The brands I do it don't like this. So I'm not going to be involved with it. And really, there's no reason for you to even have the pistol, okay? Because you can hire your security and they can have it. Just like Boosie. Boosie about to go to jail for another Instagram Live situation where he had the gun on him. And the key between the key difference between Boosie and Ja Morant is that Boosie had already been to prison. He's a convicted felon. Ja Morant is not a felon. He has no criminal record as far as I know. So Boosie had the gun on him as a convicted felon. Now he's going to the penitentiary where he could have easily hired. And the crazy part, I think in the Boosie video, his security guard was right next to him. It's like, give him the gun. Why you got to carry it? Use your brain. In the case of Boosie, it was a criminal thing because you cannot have that as a convicted felon. But in the case of Ja Morant, it's a professional thing because you didn't already apologize, say you're not going to do it anymore. It's a bad look for the NBA. You dodged the big suspension that you should have had for bringing a gun on the plane to begin with. You dodged the criminal investigation for having a gun in the strip club where it shouldn't have been in the strip club. You dodged all that, and you still want to make bad decisions. For what reason? I don't know, but I digress. Now, as I said, he's not losing the Nike endorsement. Good for him. Shout out to him. They put out a statement. I'm sure you've read it by now. He says, we are pleased that Ja is taking accountability and prioritizing his well-being. We will continue to support him on and off the court. So they're going to keep the Nike deal. Okay. The shoes right there. I'm not going to blow it up here, but this is a picture of Kyrie Irving giving the single finger salute. And if you don't remember, if you don't know, see, Kyrie has Nikes right there. Kyrie was also a Nike athlete, but they dropped him after he tweeted a link to a documentary, Hebrews to Negroes. Yeah, they said it was anti-Semitic. They said it was anti-Semitic and that it was harmful to the Jewish community. So Nike went ahead and dropped him. And they got suspended for it by the NBA. Well, by the Nets. They suspended him. You know, it might be kind of fishy for the Nets, for the NBA to suspend him because of the so-called anti-Semitic documentary, because Adam Silver is a commissioner at the NBA. And Adam Silver, obviously, is part of the tribe. Same thing with his predecessor, David Stern. So that would have been kind of a conflict, but the Nets did dirty work for the NBA, if that makes any sense. But my point is, there's a weird message being sent here. If you bring your pistol on the plane, Nike says, no big deal. Bring a gun on the plane, bring it in the strip club, ain't no problem. We support your right to bring a gun on the plane. But you want to tweet a documentary about the Jays and all this and that? Well, that's a bridge too far. That is a bridge a little bit too far. We're not going to have that. In the case of the NBA, what they're doing right now with Ja Morant, they should have did it from the beginning. And you know what? My ultimate point I want to drive home as I close is that suspending Ja Morant would have been great for Ja Morant. to give him the big suspension to let him know you can't do stuff like this, because what's going to end up happening, in my opinion, if Ja Morant does not see any kind of penalty for his actions, he's going to crash out. And what that means is he's just going to go keep doing reckless things, putting himself in bad situations, being around the wrong people, and guys like this end up going to prison. It could be a mistake. It could be something he does on purpose. Doesn't matter. End up going to prison and or losing all their money. Okay, you got all these guys in your entourage, all these hangers on. I'm sure your mom and your dad, they're getting broke off some money. Your sister and everybody, you paying for everybody's living expenses. Some of these guys get on television and say, I take care of 4 or 5 households. Gabrielle Union and Dwayne Wade do that to take care of 4 or 5 households each. So you're making a lot of money, but you got a lot of expenses, and you're doing dumb things that cost you millions of dollars, 7.5 or so million from the most recent suspension in 25 games. You're doing things like that, and you're around the wrong crowd. You can eventually crash out and lose everything. So the big suspension probably would have been the best thing for him. So he recognizes that it's real and that he cannot take his time in the NBA for granted. But as I close, I want to say this. I guess the suspension makes sense, but it should have been the bigger suspension from the jump. Nip it in the bud. I bet you if he got that big suspension, 50 games, right when it should have happened, then there will be no more guns on the Instagram. You mean to tell me that I'm going to lose millions of dollars for playing with guns on Instagram? Not even about a criminal action. That's a different story, going to the penitentiary. I'm talking about my job, doing certain things professionally. And then some are going to say, well, he should be able to do what he wants to do. People don't even put their real name and picture on Twitter because they scared their boss is going to see it and fire them. And they don't make anywhere near the kind of money that a Ja Morant makes. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? How do you feel about a 25-game suspension from the NBA to Ja Morant over the second gun video that went viral on the internets? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. It should have been a rougher suspension from the jump. Now you're trying to play catch up and trying to play politics with it. In my opinion, it should have been a harsh thing from the beginning. So nip it in the bud, and you don't have any kind of things like this going on that you got to try to come back and clean up. It's very simple. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.